prep material.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Today we'll be walking through the Service Project Center or also known as the SPC. And the SPC was designed to make it easier for Rotary members and Rotaract to share, manage, and track service projects, and it replaces what was previously known as the Rotary Showcase. Had anybody heard of the Rotary Showcase before? Show of hands. Been in there before? No, not a lot. Yeah, that's kind of been my experience. Not a lot of people, like district leaders, tend to be the ones who knew, but nobody else did. So this is good. I think it's good that we've got this new tool. And before we begin, a quick disclaimer. I'm still learning this tool myself, and I certainly don't consider myself an expert yet. So far, I've only entered a couple of projects, but I've been working with Rotary International support to get answers to questions that I and others I've been helping have had along the way. And so I just wanted to share what I've learned. And some of the slides you'll see today were provided by Rotary International. I've added a few updates and notes based on my own experience. But if you've used the SPC and you've learned something that I don't cover today, please feel free to jump in and share what you've learned. And please feel free to ask questions throughout the presentation. I'll do my best to answer based on what I know. I might put it out to the group to see if anybody knows if I don't. And if there's a question we can't answer, I will make note of it and I will be sure to get an answer to that question. Okay, so first, audience participation part. Hopefully you can see the poll. Was that popped up on your screen? How are you feeling today? Ready to serve and learn? Running on coffee and good intentions, which is not mutually exclusive. Glad I found the Zoom link, hoping this session answers my questions. All right, good. And it seems that the leading answers are ready to serve and learn and running on coffee and good intentions. And I do have my Rotary mug today. I'm very Rotary blinged out for this session. All right. Thank you for your participation. All right. So back to it. So here's what we'll talk about today. We'll start with an introduction to the SPC and then explore how to use it. We'll look at some upcoming enhancements that Rotary has communicated, and we'll finish with some best practices. The mission of the Service Project Center is simple. It's to empower members to share, connect, learn, serve, and grow. And everything in this platform aligns with Rotary's action plan and our focus on impact, which is especially important this year. In comparing the Service Project Center to the previous Rotary Showcase, the SPC brings faster performance, a mobile-friendly experience, improved project location tools, and better social sharing. Club officers now have expanded permissions, and we've added a new Rotary campaigns page. And several features were announced last year for the SPC. You can see your projects on an interactive world map. You can search for nearby projects using Projects Near Me. You can label and search projects by language, and you can share projects more easily through improved social media tools. So these updates make it easier for us to share our service with the public and motivate the world, hopefully. Here are a few quick highlights. As an example, more than 120,000 projects were posted in 2025, and a more recent number is not yet available. I checked, or at least it wasn't available to me. And any Rotary or Rotaract member with a My Rotary account can add a project. And I'll just restate that. You do have to have a My Rotary account to be able to go in and add and edit. It is open to viewing by both members and the public. So that means that clubs can inspire prospective members, partners, and donors by showcasing their service. And here's a really key update. And this is actually the reason or what started me setting up this session today. Rotary Club Central no longer collects service project completions directly. So I think at one point we were probably able to add, or we were able to edit what we completed. You can't edit that number directly in Rotary Club Central. You have to add it to the SPC, and it has to be marked completed in the Rotary year for it to count against your goals if you've chosen that particular goal. So to earn credit, projects must be added to the SPC before the 30th of June of the Rotary year and marked complete within that year. And so just as an example, for 26-27, that means that we would have to enter it between the 1st of July, 2026 and before June 30th, and it should be completed in that time period. And then the system typically takes 48 to 72 hours to update Rotary Club Central to show your completed project. And we're going to go through a live demo if it works today. It's funny, I tested it yesterday and something was going wrong, so I wasn't sure I could do a live demo today, but this morning it's working. And here's a simple tip that can save you a lot of time. So instead of writing everything from scratch, you can use AI tools like Microsoft Copilot to generate your content for the form. You just provide a brief description of the project and the SPC required fields, which is in the PDF, one of the PDFs that I sent out yesterday. So you put that in the prompt also, and you just tell Copilot, please give me all the required answers. And you just want to make sure that after you've pasted into the form, you want to make sure you review what AI has given you, because a lot of times it's not accurate. So you can't just trust it blindly. And I use Copilot just because that's the one I use every day at work and it's free. But we do, just a reminder, we do have the ChatGPT Archie, Rotary-based Archie that's available to us. And I can send that link out in the notes as well. So any questions before I jump in to the site? And I'll do just another quick poll. Because I'd just like to see, oops, sorry, not that one. If we can get it to work. All right. So I just wanted to see who has been in the SPC. So what best describes your experience with the Service Project Center? Either and can everybody see that, by the way, before okay, yeah, looks like you can see it. I've entered several projects and I know my way around. I've looked at it, but I haven't entered a project yet. I've heard of it, but I haven't logged in. And what is the Service Project Center? That's why I came today. So we'll give everybody a minute. Okay, so it's looking like everybody's answered, so I'll just share the results. So most of us are pretty new to it. The one person who's entered several projects and know your way around, congratulations, you'll be taking over the session from here. So I'll turn it over to you. Just kidding, but please do let me know if I do something that you have experience with that you would do differently or whatever. Okay, so let's take a look. I'm going to try to get out of these slides. The first step is to log into My Rotary. So I'm just going to myrotary.org. And just to reconfirm, everybody can still see the browser, even though it's not my slides. Okay, thank you. Sign in. My information's already saved because I clicked the Remember Me box. So let that sign in there. And then you can find the Service Project Center in several locations. It's under the Participate menu, it's under Knowledge and Resources, but the easiest way is actually just to scroll down, and these boxes that are in the middle of the screen, it's this one here, the Service Project Center. So click that one. Okay, and then that should change from sign in because I am already signed in. You want to click Add a Service Project. And before you add your service project, because the permissions within the Service Project Center are so broad, like anybody in your club with a My Rotary account can add a project, which is nice because it's not just the workload isn't on one or two people in this tool, but you want to make sure you're not adding duplicate projects. So the first step is always confirming that as a person entering the project that you've looked at your own club projects and made sure it's not already in there. So you click this link, My Club Projects, and they'll load. Takes a little bit. So you can go through all your projects. There's a famous person there, Sonny Kellerman, right there. And then the rest of these should load, but you just want to look through and make sure that it's not already in the system, so you're not creating a duplicate. And I can tell you, I know for sure that mine is not today. So I'll click Add a Service Project, and I sign this attestation confirming that it's not a duplicate. And then there's a couple of good warnings before you start that you want to make sure that, especially with photographs and videos, that you're thinking about Rotary International Terms of Use and our privacy policy. And then especially with youth, like RILA, Interact, or Youth Exchange participants, you want to make sure you check Rotary's youth protection policies before you post a photo or contact information or other personally identifying information. So they have a contact here of youth protection at rotary.org, but of course we have Dick Jones, our youth protection officer, here online. So Dick, anything you want to say, like quick tips on photos and videos of youth?
Just remember, since Rotary is an international organization, we are governed by European internet laws, which are a lot stricter than ours. So they have some very restrictive policies on posting youth pictures. Uh, so you need to look into that. From our standpoint, you should probably not be showing faces or identifying information on any minors, whether it's a club project where you've just got a bunch of school kids out doing something, or whether they're at RILA or youth exchange, something like that. So just be careful. Spend some time looking through both the Rotary and the international restrictions.
Thanks, Dick. We have a question from Aaron.
Yeah, Dick, for RILA, we've been getting photo release asking for permission from their parents, if they're minors, to be able to use their photo in Rotary type promotions types of things. And most everybody has signed off on that photo. Do those restrictions like you just provided apply to those for whom we have releases?
If you have the release, you should be fine.
Okay.
Great question. Okay. Any other questions before I proceed?
Good release.
I'm sorry, Dan, did you say something?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. So the next step is you want to think about with which of these boxes you want to choose. So if your project is already completed, fully planned, or it's in progress, or you're adding a current or completed project to your portfolio, you want to choose this one, which is the one I will be choosing today and going through. And then the other option is a proposed project seeking partners. So if you have a proposal or you're looking for partners to help you with that, you would choose this one. But today's demo is just going to be the established project. Okay. So I'm going to choose that. And then it's going to say, please tell us about your project. And so the example I'm going to use today is what my club did this week, which was volunteering for the New Mexico Cancer Fund's gala. Oops. And I did have everything ready to copy and paste, but I had some technical issues this morning. So now I'm going based on just what I can type in. And there is a character limit here. So you want to make sure you keep your title under 50 characters rather. And then you would enter the description here we had at least 8 club members assisted in supporting activities for the gala, from transporting items to managing the silent, see what I mean? Not an expert. You're seeing real time how I'm not an expert here. Managing items. And what you can do, just I will mention, you can't save a project as a draft, but as long as you have all the required fields, which are marked by the asterisk, as long as you have those populated, you can save it and you can go back later and edit it. So if anything's not quite right, you can go in and fix the details. So I'm actually going to do that here because I don't have my copy paste up here. I'm going to put description here, but I had Copilot write for me. I told it what we did and it gave like a, less than 1,000 character description, and I would copy and paste it here. And then your project category is of course required. So I'm going to say community for this one. It could be youth as well because it's the New Mexico Children's Cancer Fund. But you have these options and you do have to pick one. And then for location, I'm going to add Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I think you can put like a specific address if you choose to. I'm not going to do that right now. Yeah, here you can do that. So the city, there are certain ones that are required. So as a minimum, you have to have the city, state there, but then you can add a specific street address if you choose to. So the project timeline was actually just this week. We worked from Wednesday. The event was on Thursday, the 9th, and we finished up yesterday. So this project is complete. The end date was Friday because we did a little bit over each of 3 days. Project funding is part 3. You indicate here if it's funded by a global grant or district grant. In this case, our efforts at the gala were not funded. And in fact, there was no funding. We just went there and put in some elbow grease to help them with certain things. But if you had funding sources, you can choose from this drop down the source, and you can add additional funding sources as appropriate for your project. Next, project partners. So I could add here the New Mexico Children's Cancer Fund for this particular project. My club also did a cleanup in an arroyo behind Biking Coffee, and one of our members works for a company called Wildan. Wildan, for that project, provided us garbage bags and t-shirts, and it was something like $50 worth of materials. So I did list them as a partner. So that's up to you if it makes sense for your project. And then if you're working with any of these partners in service for your project, you would select the appropriate one there. So yeah, and a lot of this information on the partners is not required, but it's good to have. I would say, as I mentioned before, you have to fill out the required fields, but anything you add, Rotary strongly encourages the remainder of the fields to be populated because it helps with the searchability, it helps with generating interest. So the more information you have, the better. Go ahead, Laura, you are on mute, by the way.
Yes, I was just going to say, a lot of people may not have heard of the Institute for Economics and Peace, but at the convention, they did a whole afternoon seminar on how they work with Rotary and especially with Rotary youth programs to provide support and information. And I just thought that was interesting, especially if we have folks that are involved with youth programs on the call.
What was the group again, Laura?
It's the Institute for International Economics and Peace. It's
Okay.
that one right there.
Okay.
Shelter Box is another cool one that it actually started out with Rotary, but now it's independent. So that's a cool one. And of course, we all know Habitat for Humanity and Peace Corps. I don't know Ashoka. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that one, but yeah, more fun facts and things to look into later on. Okay. And then here, so for the project I'm using as an example today, where we were some hands-on assistance for a gala, this community needs and project impact and sustainability would be relatively simple. And in fact, I don't have to enter anything. But if you have a more complicated project, especially where one that required community assessment and you go through that process, you want to use those tools and then add all that information here. So has anybody on the call, I'm sure we had some district leaders, has anybody gone through a community assessment process? My previous club in Pennsylvania did. We got all the community nonprofit leaders together in a meeting, and we used some of the tools just to ask them, what's going on in the community? How can we help each other? And we built a project from that. So if you go through something that formal, you would add all that information here. And it's not always required. And then here's where you add your photos, your video, your links. Again, not required, but if you are able to add those things, it adds interest. So folks searching in the tool will be drawn to your project and they can see what it was really like. You can use tools like I did for my club. Your iPhone, if you have an iPhone or a MacBook, there's an app called iMovie, and it has templates in there that makes really cool, like movie type trailers, movie style trailers. And so I made a pretty cool one for our culvert cleanup, and it made it look very exciting. And it was exciting. I will not say it wasn't, but it added a lot of cool graphics and music and things like that. So those are some things you can do. And then I loaded that to YouTube because we have a club YouTube channel, and then I put the link on this project. And then you want to indicate if it's supporting any campaigns listed here, add a tag, again, to make it easier to search for Rotary members and the public. And then you want to talk about project difficulty. So like the gala project, pretty simple because someone else organized it and we were just there as hands-on help. So pretty basic, but you can have intermediate or advanced, like where I talked about that community assessment and you go through a whole project management process. Like the pancakes on the plaza, I would say is pretty advanced considering the size and details and everything like that. So I would indicate that it's advanced. And then you would add your volunteer engagement. So this one was 2627. I calculated a total of 24 volunteer hours because we had 8 people with several shifts, and that's what it worked out to be. 8 volunteers. We didn't contribute any cash. I don't think I have to put 0 here, but let's see. Yep. So that's that. And then project language was in English, although probably somebody in the room was speaking Spanish, but our club was pretty much speaking English. And then you publish. So again, that's your only option is to publish. You can't save a draft, but you can go back and edit it later on because I put some placeholders in there, as you may recall. So you can edit that, add more information, that sort of thing. So one thing that I learned in the process of adding a project with Annette is that if your project is in the future, you would choose that other button at the first screen. So instead of, I think this was established project, you would pick the proposed project. So that's the only thing. If it's in the future, you can't add it the way I just did today. So any questions about that? Pretty straightforward.
Sorry, I have one question on that.
Please.
So can you show us where you would go to copy a project from a previous year to kind of pull things over?
Sure. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I'll go to my club projects. And I think I did do this, but it's been a while and it has fallen out of my brain. So every year we do that outdoor cleanup. So I think what I did, because we had this one, annual culvert cleanup. So I copied that to create this one. But if I were to copy it for this year, I would go into the project and then click copy project. And everything should populate, and then you can modify as needed. So, but I'm not I won't publish this one yet. We will do it again, but I'm not going to publish this particular one. Does that answer your question, Laura, or are you thinking something else?
That perfectly answers my question. Yeah, I've been telling people that once they get it in there, if it's a continual project, it's easy. It's just the first time that it's so much.
Yeah, and one thing I will test though, because I know we'll do this again on our Epic Day of Service coming up this year. But if I were to put in May 2027, I don't think it won't let me enter it yet because it's in the future. So just something to note. I would recommend personally just waiting until the day after the project, and then you just copy last year's project and mark it completed through this path. All right. Then I'll go back here. Go back to my club projects. Yeah, and I don't want to save that. So by leaving, I have not published that. And then one other thing I haven't tested yet. So now we're going into the wild and crazy frontier, is I know you can share a project through social media. So when you're in a project, there's this share link up here. And then you have these options, but I'm not sure because I haven't yet connected this to our Facebook page. So I don't know what it's going to do. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I'm not logged in yet, but you can share. There is a way to do it. So once I actually do that, I can share my results, but it is possible. Lori, did you have another comment?
I did. I had another question. First of all, I do think that sharing things on Facebook is a really good reason why you want to enter the project before it happens so that you can share it and hopefully get more people there. And that's also why you want to put in an exact address. And the other question I was going to ask, I know they've been redesigning the Epic Day of Service website. Will the Epic Day of Service website, will we be able to connect our projects to that so we don't have to enter them again?
I don't know if Sunny has I don't have any information on that. That would be great. I don't know, Sunny, if you know anything about that.
They've not shared with me the specific remastering they're going to do. I've been begging them to just have one button on the homepage that says, click here to register your club and your project. But I don't know the specifics yet. I'll ask them to do that because that makes a lot of sense.
And then Aaron?
Yeah, mine was on the lines of Laura's. Is we can't enter projects in the future for 2027, but we can do them for 2026 and tie
You
them to
can.
Facebook. We can't.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry to make that confusing. So you can always enter a project in the future. You just can't do it through the path I showed. You
Okay.
have to, when you click add a service project, there's established project, which is the path. That's the path we followed today.
I see. Okay. Yeah,
Or-
proposed
yeah.
project seeking partners. Okay, great. Because definitely want to get it before, so we can invite the public.
Yeah, exactly. So it's similar requirements. Yeah, I can put some placeholders in here. Let's see what happens. I mean, we're on an exciting Rotary adventure right now. Like, let's just go crazy. So we're gonna put this in here. We're gonna say it's at, and I don't know will it take a location? Oh, it does. So you can, maybe it's probably connected to Google Maps. So you can type a specific business and it'll populate the information. So then that's all populated. I want to do this in, let's say, June of 27. So that's where it lets you enter it in the future. Or it looks like you have the option, the start date's not determined. Just pick something there. Estimated duration. We're going to do this for 30 days. Whoever's on my team is going to be working for 30 days. It's going to be a hard project. And then these project fundings are not required. So we're just going to skip that for now. Project partners also not required. So I'll skip it. So it's it is the same fields. I just hadn't entered anything in a future project. And then you add the video link and so on, and then English, and then we publish it. And there is an option to delete a project, obviously. And then this is where, again, you would share it to the future one. Yeah. But I can also delete this project, which I will do that now because that was garbage that I entered, and we want to try to avoid entering garbage in the database. So other questions? Looks like we got a few things in the chat. Okay, and Kim, sorry about your laryngitis. If you want to put any questions in the chat, we will read them. Thanks for all the other comments. All right, I do have a couple more slides. So let me just go back here to this one. Okay, slideshow. Okay, so I have in the PowerPoint deck, I do have all the screenshots. So we're just going to speed through those quickly. And then the Service Center, Project Center will continue evolving to support our club service efforts. Rotary is actively building more tools, resources, and a deeper integration with grants and collaboration features. So you can find periodic updates about those enhancements on the Service Project Center page. And if you ever have questions, I'm of course available as best I can, but the experts are also available at Rotary Support Center at rotary.org or by calling the number shown on the screen. And then I saw a recent article on the Service Project Center website, so I just wanted to share that there are more enhancements on the way. A new collaboration opportunities section will highlight project proposals from clubs that are looking for grant partners, funding, or other support. And the Grant Center will soon be accessible directly through the Service Project Center. And that'll allow members to apply for grants, track applications, submit reports, and explore other grants in our district. And Rotary will introduce a centralized resources area with materials on planning service projects and using grant funding, searchable by topic, role, and planning stage. So look out for all of those. And then just a few best practices for using the Service Project Center. You want to use it for service projects, not club activities like member inductions or district events or anything like that. So it's really just for service projects. And I think fundraisers was an option in there. Whether other non-service events or activities are added, or when they are added, it dilutes the quality of service information we can share, and it can create a frustrating experience. So that's why you don't want to add other things, and don't add junk that stays in there very long, like I did today. As an example. Yeah.
Hey, I have a quick question. You mentioned district projects. So this wouldn't be something if we do have a district grant, I know that was a question in the system. We shouldn't put it in here.
It's a great question. Yeah,
okay.
Any thoughts on that from the group? If there's so you're saying, but it would be a club, well, you mean a club project funded by a district grant?
That's right.
Yeah, I think we would put that in there. You just mentioned that because there was a checkbox for whether it was funded.
Yep, there is. Yeah, okay, thanks for the clarification.
Yep. I thought you meant if we happen to have like a district, like Year Cheer, I think is considered a Del Norte project, but if we had something that was specifically run by the district, I don't know how we would enter that. So that's a little bit different of a question, but yeah.
So Jen,
Yeah.
would our parade that we just pulled off, should that go in there?
Yes, because yeah. Thoughts? Someone else jump in on that one.
Yes, I think that should absolutely go in there because that's a lot of work, a lot of effort that you guys put into putting that all together. It is a community service. Yes.
Yeah, because I mean, it was done for the city.
Right, right there. And Jen, Kim has a really great question in the chat.
So you said Kim Lovington has never used this. Should I go back and list our club's completed 25, 26 projects or just go forward? That's another good question. I mean, I don't know. I assume it would populate the Rotary Club Central goals. So you would have that history of completed projects. Sometimes having that historical data is helpful for setting your future goals. So you could, other thoughts on whether you'd recommend entering it? I mean, it's pretty fast. It wouldn't hurt anything. I think Rotary would say, yes, please do enter your projects.
It would also give your club future templates to draw from if they're projects you do every year.
Yep. Yeah, so I think there's you don't have to, but I think there's lots of benefits to doing that. Okay, any other questions? Okay. And then
Well,
let's see.
I'm assuming, Jen, that for purposes of establishing the earning of a Club Excellence Award, you would need to have them marked complete in this Service Project Center.
Yes, for sure. Because they
If you
don't.
had selected that as a goal.
Yes. Yep. They
Okay.
have to be marked complete for the number to go up to
Right.
show what you've achieved. So yes, definitely. Oh yeah. So just going back to the additional best practices.
Yes.
When adding completed projects, again, choose that established project option. And you'll again be asked to confirm it's not already listed and make sure the start and end dates fall within the given Rotary year. Third best practice is share your club's stories of service. Not every service project will be, big or have a lot of detail, but when it's possible, really try to paint the picture of the planning and the effort and the impact which went into organizing and delivering your service project, because this can be a great way to connect with fellow members. If other Rotary members are searching for ideas, they'll see your project and that can inspire them, but you can also share it with prospective members, donors, and partners. Make sure you add photos when you can per the requirements that we discussed earlier in the meeting. Make sure you have photo releases, especially for youth. But having those photos or videos can really help viewers understand what it was like and get them excited about those particular projects. Let's see. If you have projects that were in the system, so this was just a note, you want to update the project location. So if you already have older projects, anything after August 1st, 2024 should have the location attached, but I'm not sure I understand this note. So I wrote this note based on guidelines from RI, but I think it was just saying if you have anything older, which I think none of us maybe do, you can update the location because it wasn't updated automatically. And then, yes, and then this note actually, what we just discussed, Sunny, you want to make sure you're updating it to earn your service projects goal in Rotary Club Central. And then the last one, if you have a multi-club or multi-district service project initiative you'd like to track, you can create a unique tag and ask participating clubs to add the tag to the tag section when they add or edit a project. And then when you search that tag using the keyword filter, all the projects linked to that initiative will appear. Did someone want to jump in there? Did I hear?
Erin.
I have a couple questions. One, you mentioned earlier about district projects, like service projects. So there's RILA. Is that a service project, and how would it be entered, and or do we not do it in here?
Great question. Any thoughts on that one? Like what we do with, because you could, like each club could talk about their RILA students and put the RILA hashtag in there, like District 5520 RILA. I think we have some options there of how to do that.
Okay.
Maybe
there might not be an overall RILA, it might be individual clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be.
Okay.
But let's talk about that one.
Sometimes RILA has a service project as one of its components.
Yeah.
Would we want to enter that?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think we would want to enter that, but well, I know that we haven't done that in the most recent years, and we probably won't do a RILA overall service project, but there may be service projects that come from that the clubs could put in. But that doesn't mean that we wouldn't have something in the future, as we have had in the past, I understand.
Yeah.
So
I'm meeting with John Chase at the Zone at noon today. I can ask him about that.
great.
Yeah, it would be nice if there was a component where the district could enter a project, and then the RILA would fit with that.
Yeah. So the other question I had, and you may have said this, but I haven't been in this one or the predecessor. Did the information from the preceding place get brought over to this particular system?
I think I saw in the notes that it did, but let me validate that and get back to you because I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, because I'm curious to see what our club has put in the past, and is that other system still available that we could look for past items?
I don't know.
Or
I'll find out.
okay, okay.
Bianca?
Yeah, along the lines with Aaron, I don't know what Ryla does during their 1 week camps, but I know when we get together with our students 4 times a year, we do have a service project in that community.
Yeah, so-
Not necessarily through that club, but maybe if that's the way we need to do it. So yeah, I'd be curious to find out how we can update those.
Yep, I'll take some notes. I mean, it might be up to us. Like, I don't think there's any like system rules that I've seen so far, but Laura, you talking to the zone person will be great. So we'll find out if there's any like system or zone guidance first, but then we can probably decide as a district, probably how we want to do it.
Okay.
Well, and so I'm sorry, my camera isn't on, folks. My internet's a little funny. But the club, so for instance, Rio Rancho Rotary Club could obviously post pictures of Leandro doing his projects this year. So we might still, as crossover clubs who are hosting, make sure that we're posting.
I lost you. Oh, you went on mute for some reason. That's strange.
We should probably encourage our clubs who are hosting to post their students' item.
I would agree with that as a general comment.
Now, Jen, would Interact go under the club, or should the Interact Club be able to enter service projects?
Because what I saw in the notes was Rotaract and Rotarians have access. I would think it would be through the Rotary Club that someone would enter on their behalf.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But I will also ask if there's anything specific for Interact separately.
Yeah, that's a great question because you could have a My Rotary account as an Interact, right?
Can you?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone under or over 18 actually can have one.
Okay.
Any other
Good question.
questions that I missed? Yeah, really good questions. And I hope I'm making it clear that I do not have all the answers. And a lot of these we're going to have to decide together as a district, I think, once we have more information. So
Right.
it won't all be up to me. I'm not a dictator. I'm not a dictator. All right. Just so we're clear on that. We're going to work together as a team.
Okay.
Okay. So just a few frequently asked questions. We talked already, should you add it as established or proposed? Established is when it's already complete. Proposed is when it's in the future or you're looking for partners. Who can add projects to the Service Project Center? I think we already talked about this a couple times, but it's any active Rotary or Rotaract member and Rotary Club executive secretaries with an active My Rotary account. Who can edit, copy, or delete a project? The member who posted the project can do that, and members added as project contacts in the project and current club officers have the permissions to edit, copy, or delete a certain project's information. And then Annette asked a good question when we were working together. Can I remove myself as a project contact if I was just the one to enter it, but I wasn't involved? No, if you upload the project, you can't remove yourself as a project contact, but you can add additional club members that can be the project contacts so they can make updates or manage the project as needed. Okay. And then if you need help after today, you can always reach out to me and I'll do my best. Or I mentioned earlier on the slide, and everybody will get these slides, the Rotary Support Center email and phone number. Their office is open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central, and they can walk you through project entry, date requirements, or anything else related to the tool. Thank you very much for your time and attention. And now I'm going to attempt to launch my survey, post-event survey. If you wouldn't mind filling that out. And I'll take additional questions or thoughts while everybody's doing that. And can you see the poll? Hopefully it's popped up for you. Okay. Yep. So I'm just asking to rate you to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 today. What was the best, most useful part of today? What was the least useful part of or could use some work? Probably my jokes, but you have to put up with my jokes. That's what's nice about being in a volunteer organization. Like at work, I can't always tell my silly jokes, but here you have to hear them. So. And then is there anything you would like, oh, and the numbering's not quite right on there. Is there anything you'd like to have more information about at the bottom?
Walking through the system.
Do you have a question, Monica?
Sounds like no. Did anybody else have any comments or questions? If you've filled out your survey, you can feel free.
Thank you, Jen. Nice
Thank
done.
Thank you so much. This was really great.
Okay, good. I hope it was useful.
Thank
Good
you,
luck.
Jen. Bye-bye.
Appreciate it, Jen.
Thanks,
Thank
Jen.
you.
And no, I didn't have any
Thank you,
questions.
Jen.
All is good.
Great.
Appreciate you.
I can't fill out the survey because I can't use my keyboard. It's not functioning right now. Just my mouse.
Okay.
It won't let me submit without typing, and I can't type.
Well, if you have a phone, I've put a QR code up on the screen.
Okay.
Jen, you are so
This-
talented.
Jen, this
No,
has
but you
probably
are.
been mentioned before, but you're amazing.
No, you are. Stop.
I just told her she is so talented.
Aw.
Yeah.
Did you just create that QR code when it was asked, or did you have it in case?
Oh no, so full disclosure, the survey as a host, there's a button that says get QR code and I clicked it. So I'm
Okay.
not sure I agree with your talent comment because I literally just clicked a button.
Yeah, but you knew to do that.
Exactly.
All right, I'll take it. Thank you, Bianca.
Okay.
You're
Okay.
a delight.
That reminds me of a joke when I was up in Estes Park. We had gone to this place and they were talking about this big train, and they were talking about how the train wasn't working and this and that and da 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 da, and they had called out an expert, and he comes out and he hits the train in a certain spot, and all of a sudden everything comes back to life, and he goes, "That'll be $10,000," and the person goes, $10,000? All you did was hit it. He says, "Yes, but I knew where to hit it."
Yeah. A good point.
I know where to hit it, but sometimes I get lucky, Kevin. I get
Yeah.
lucky.
Hey, just fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all so much. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for joining.
Thank you,
Jen,
Jen.
thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jen. Bye.
Really helpful.
Good.
Bye, everyone.
everybody.
Bye.
Tony, thank you for the nice card.
You're most welcome, Dan. Thinking of you every
Appreciate it.
day. Hugs to you
Take
and
care,
Gay.
folks.
Talk to you later.